Indiana had a season that was unexpectedly strong, yet ultimately disappointing. They briefly reached the playoffs before exiting as quickly as Caitlin Clark's name was announced on draft night. With the acquisition of the cost-effective Golden Girl, the focus now shifts to the formidable task of restructuring the roster and fostering a team culture that complements her strengths. Rare is the talent possessed by individuals like her, and relying solely on luck by handing her the ball is not a viable strategy. The exceptional Fever prospect, reminiscent of Tamika Catchings, requires assistance. In 2024, there was fluctuating consistency among specific players, and the elusive cohesion of the team never persisted. How can this team enhance its performance and take full advantage of Clark's youth and affordability? This exercise may be viewed as resembling the approach of a hypothetical general manager. I comprehend and will not attempt to persuade you differently. Nevertheless, I will provide rationale for every decision I make, with the hope that my perspective will be clear to you even if you may not agree. The outlined steps follow a structured sequence and represent strategic measures aimed at enhancing the performance of the team beyond the level witnessed in 2024. We hope that Amber Cox, Kelly Krauskopf, and Stephanie White are currently viewing this message. Farewells to the familiar are never easy. Ericka Wheeler and Kelsey Mitchell, with 6 and 7 seasons of experience in Indianapolis, have gained the admiration of supporters. It is now necessary for their shared and expiring salaries totaling $414,154 to be relocated. Retaining a player such as Wheeler holds a certain allure. If she embraces her position as a reserve scorer, there is potential for positive contributions. However, the funds she desires would be more wisely allocated to other areas. The team requires assistance in various areas, particularly on the defensive end, where improvements can be made to her 3.6 points per game and 112 defensive rating quite easily. Regarding Mitchell, it may be challenging for some to comprehend the decision to release a player who has spent her entire career in Indianapolis and achieved a career-high 19.2 ppg. I actually anticipate that they will prioritize keeping her on board by assigning her core responsibilities. However, the focus should be on optimizing Clark and his team's potential. Regrettably, the numbers of Clark and Mitchell combined do not indicate compatibility. Clark's offensive performance showed a decline when paired with Mitchell, although there was an improvement in defensive skills. Nevertheless, Mitchell's defensive rating of 114 and the team's improved defense when he is off the court present a less favorable outlook. It should be noted that Mitchell, although aiming to support her team, often disrupts the team's offensive flow by taking forced shots. In the season-ending Game 2 loss to the Sun, she took a premature three-point shot late in the game, leading to an unforced turnover that ultimately played a role in the defeat. We are now beginning to make progress. Smith's skills are impressive, but unfortunately, Aaliyah Boston and Clark have inadvertently hindered her development. At the beginning of the season, I held optimistic expectations for the team's potential, especially with their top 3 players, despite the potential challenges posed by Boston and Smith's roles in the post. Smith has struggled to secure a fitting role within the team. In 2024, she recorded her lowest career averages in points per game, minutes per game, rebounds per game, field goal attempts, and assists per game. The difficulties she encountered in securing space and possession of the ball during her time with Boston last year have now escalated with Clark. The figures displayed by Smith and Clark on the floor are concerning. The numerical figures displayed on the floor with Smith and Boston are unfavorable. Out of the top 7 lineups with the highest defensive rating this year, Smith was only included in 1 as part of the team. Smith was a member of the team's 6th best DRTG lineup, despite being part of the best one. This is not meant to disparage Smith. At just 24 years old, she has already showcased her potential for excellence. It has been challenging for her to find her place on this team, and it is now necessary to transfer her for a player that aligns more with Clark's needs. Introducing Alicia Gray. The Dream may decline the offer, but it's important to note that Gray may also not be the ideal choice for Howard. It is possible that the lack of synergy between Howard and Gray this season could be attributed to the play calling of former head coach Tanisha Wright. Despite their individual talents, their on-court chemistry did not appear as seamless as expected. Perhaps the new head coach, Carl Smesko, desires to assess the situation before taking any action. Despite spending the second most minutes together out of any pairing in their starting unit, Howard and Gray have the 3rd lowest net rating when on the court together. Gray provides the Indiana team with a crucial element they are lacking: skilled, versatile performance on both offense and defense, particularly in the guard positions. Gray is considered a top-tier player with exceptional skills on both offense and defense in the league. Her performance will help bridge the scoring gap created by Mitchell and elevate the backcourt unit, which ranked last in DRTG in 2024. She excels as a versatile transition player. Among players who logged at least 25 minutes per game in 2024, Gray ranked 13th in the proportion of her total points scored on fast break opportunities. The Indiana team, aiming to keep up with Clark, placed 9th in the percentage of points scored on fast breaks. Gray swiftly resolves the issue. Her career three-point shooting percentage of 34.7% provides additional spacing on the court, allowing Clark to operate with more freedom. This agreement provides Smith with a new opportunity to join a team seeking a durable frontcourt presence, even amidst the success of the Tina Charles era. This feature enables Gray to enhance every aspect of her gameplay. As a hypothetical general manager, one of my top rules would be to avoid giving mid-level players long-term contracts with restrictive protections in case they fail to meet expectations. The issue arose for Indiana upon signing Katie Lou Samuelson and Damiris Dantas, the latter of whom had a successful season. The arrival of the Golden State Valkyries as the 13th team in the league prompts consideration of exposing Dantas, despite her previous success with Clark. Perhaps they could consider offering Dantas along with a couple of draft picks to prevent the Valkyries from acquiring another player, unless Cox and his team are interested. They are agreeable with acquiring Grace Berger, Christy Wallace, or potentially Temi Fagbinal. This new agreement with a protected veteran allows the Fever to extend an offer to an unrestricted free agent while also eliminating a $100,000 overpayment from the team's expenses. Signing Samuelson was a well-intentioned decision, but ultimately turned out to be a regrettable choice. The player's contract, valued at $180,250, is considered excessive given the limited duration of just the next season. What if the team were able to acquire another versatile player who could offer valuable veteran experience and leadership within the team? For example, trading Samuelson, their 2026 first-round pick, and a pick swap in 2027 for Sykes could be a potential option. Perhaps a one-year guarantee for Sykes may seem excessive, but there is no doubt about the worth of a player like Sykes and the contribution she can make to Indiana. Sykes' offensive talents, specifically her strong driving ability, enhance Gray's gameplay and open up more scoring chances for Clark. These players provide the offense with a range of alternatives and choices that have the ability to rapidly extend and disorient defenses. Given Sykes' limited playoff experience, the opportunity to join a team poised for immediate success would undoubtedly capture her interest. She is capable of instructing Clark in leadership skills, while Clark's inclusion allows Sykes to focus on being a secondary or tertiary scorer, aligning better with her strengths. The upcoming Washington Mystics general manager may not favor the player acquired in this trade, yet the team must quickly revamp their roster. Acquiring the coveted draft assets would be a significant benefit, and the reunion of the Samuelson sisters is sure to excite the fan base, even if only for a single season. The trade also results in Washington gaining an additional $15,000 in salary cap space. Despite not collaborating with Boston, it remains essential to prioritize finding a suitable frontcourt partner for Smith. This holds particularly true if they are able to transfer Dantas' contract to the Valkyries. Alyssa Thomas is expected to be retained by the Connecticut Sun, providing Jonquil Jones the opportunity to sign with any team of her preference. It is possible that the Sun is involved, but Indiana should consider adding a dominant presence. With evolving broadcasting agreements and a contractual opt-out option in the CBA, the year 2025 promises to be intriguing for free agents. It is common for the majority of free agents to only agree to one-year contracts. Jones is no exception. By offering Jones a $175,000 contract with veteran protection, we could secure her agreement, despite it potentially being slightly below market value. Given that Smith and Boston were not successful, it begs the question of whether Jones and Boston will be any different. Despite their contrasting basketball styles, Thomas and Boston are both frontcourt players who excel in the post area. If a player such as Thomas could disrupt Jones's performance in the paint while still achieving positive results, why couldn't Boston and Jones do the same? Setting aside coaching disparities, the addition of a seasoned player like Jones would strengthen the defense and introduce another scoring option to the powerful Fever offense. We anticipate that the majority of free agents will be inclined to accept one-year contracts, a circumstance which is acceptable to me. Indiana should consider recruiting experienced players who can enhance team chemistry and provide valuable contributions coming off the bench. I am considering players such as Maisha Hines-Allen, Kennedy Burke, and Shaytori Walker-Kimbrough. These players will not only add strength of character, but also make substantial defensive contributions on the court. In 2024, Sides bench ranked 6th in minutes per game, defensive rating, and net rating, and 7th in points per game and offensive rating. In order for this team to surpass its current limitations, it requires both a substantial quantity and high quality of playing time from its bench players. Incorporating these veterans into the team would not only be cost-effective but also offer an optimal solution for the revitalized Indiana Fever. This pivotal move is essential as player skills are irrelevant if the team rotations and strategies are ineffective. Former head coach Christy Sides faced scrutiny for her rotation decisions in the past. It was recognized that it would take time for Clark to integrate effectively. However, once Sides identified a few successful pieces, it appeared she overlooked other options, which had a negative impact on the team as a whole. The lack of diversity in offensive strategies led to opposition teams quickly identifying and disrupting the team's rotations. Players such as Grace Berger and Christy Wallace showed inconsistent performances, while Fagbinal received excessive playing time despite her negative impact on the team's success. It is hoped that an improved bench will bring a more well-rounded approach, as the new front office is expected to prioritize finding solutions to this issue. Without cleaner rotations that avoid becoming overworked and predictable, the team may struggle. Additionally, the introduction of a new head coach is expected to bring about new offensive strategies and sets. Stephanie White, the newly appointed head coach, is recognized for her innovative approach to basketball, particularly in utilizing off-ball movement to enhance offensive strategies. The team's offensive effectiveness and innovation are expected to see a notable rise with strategic personnel changes to better utilize Clark's skills without neglecting other players. In the end, it is unlikely that the Fever will make any drastic moves, as per my suggestion. However, they must strategically plan and execute multiple actions to enhance their performance during the Clark window and progress towards a championship title.